Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first bracket match of the Symphony of the Night Spring Randomizer Tournament 2025. Hope you're all doing great tonight. Couldn't have asked for a better co-commentator to join me for this one. Welcome, Eldritch. How you doing?
Good evening, legends and heroes. I am doing all right. I'm kind of excited to see how this kicks off. We got two great racers here, so I'm looking forward to a good match, too.
Got a lot to talk about since it is the first bracket match. I'll very quickly go over the format of the tournament from here till the end. There are 6 racers who have made it to the bracket stage. 2 have gotten byes, and seeds 3 through 6 will face off on winner's side. So it's going to be best of 3 the rest of the way. And whoever loses this first match is still in the tournament, but will be on the loser's side of bracket instead. Now, Eld, maybe you can tell us a little bit about our players here. Both Ren and Crazy are definitely contenders to win the whole thing.
Yeah, Randomizer is one of our Brazilian brethren. He started playing during the Vampire Frumps tournament for Randomizer Brazil, and he stuck with it through the last tournament that Dragon Blitz was running, although he didn't participate because he didn't like the preset, the format. He also participated in the last Tidbit and won that. He has been a strong contender. He's been playing for about 2 years now, but through sheer morbid practice, he has managed to become one of the top runners in the entire long library. Meanwhile, we've got Crazy for Blades. Crazy for Blades came in at about the same time as Renato, so there is a little bit of a heated rivalry between these two. And Crazy for Blades actually also joined the dev team as a HTML and Java programmer. So we're excited to have him be not only a strong competitor in these races, but also as a strong programmer.
We're coming up on our first relic here, which means it's time to talk about the preset. This is the Spellbound tournament. I always like to focus on one preset for the duration of the events. And Spellbound's an interesting one. It is a safe variant. So we got complexity 9. You'll notice all the relics are hidden. That was a feature I believe that you added, Eld, to the rando.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually added this feature, I want to say about 3 or 4 months ago. We had somebody who brought up the idea, what if you couldn't tell what you were getting? And Mott and I actually found it very easy to implement by replacing all of the relic item icons with a scroll.
So that's going to change how these players approach the routing in some interesting ways for sure. Of course, the other main gimmick, and the reason why it is called Spellbound, is the way that weapons are not available at the start. How does it work?
Well, typically in a safe seed, what normally happens is Death takes all your stuff and then you're left using fists to fight most of your enemies. However, in safe, you have access to various spells. All of the spells that are unlocked at the very beginning of the game, Soul Steal, Tetra Spirit, all of those spells in Spellbound are locked behind familiar cards, which means that until you get the familiar card which corresponds to that spell, you cannot use that spell. If you try to do the input, you don't get anything.
So keep an eye out on the second row of the tracker. You'll see there are custom little spell icons there. In fact, a lot of these come from the mobile port of Symphony of the Night, which is pretty cool. But not having access to spells is going to change a whole lot. For example, the difficulty goes way up. This is considered the toughest tournament preset we've had, and even a boss like Slogger Gaibon becomes something of a challenge here.
Yeah, on the front of the mobile icons, the mobile game actually allows, whenever you cast a spell for the first time, it allows you to assign that spell to a command button on the screen, and that's where those icons came from.
So Ren here with the early lead, and we've got a Jewel of Open Seed, which is kind of classic safe. What are you expecting to see down here?
what am I expecting to see down at Spirit Orb? Probably a familiar card. Probably like one of the spells. I don't usually expect Spirit Orb to have anything.
If so, we're going to be in for a slow start here. It is, vanilla. That's all right. You know, one of the things, El, that I like about Hidden Relics is that players can't abandon items like Spirit Orb to save 2 seconds. I understand why people do that, but it's kind of nice to see the numbers. So in this preset, we're going to be seeing more Spirit Orb going forward.
Big number go burr.
Oh, and meanwhile, Crazy got a Rune Sword drop. I don't think Ren got that one. That's going to be interesting. Which is actually another very nice segue to talk about the item random. So there's been a recent tweak to the way that item randomizer works to make it a little bit more player and viewer friendly. What's the scoop?
Well, Mott came at me the other day. It wasn't even the other day. It was like a month ago or 2 months ago. And he was basically saying that one of the biggest complaints that we see from the item stat randomizer is that it also randomizes the item name. So if you pick up a Marcel with item stat randomizer as it was, you didn't know that that was a Marcel. It could have been a Gladius, and nobody wants a Gladius. And the biggest complaint from just about everybody is that you would pick up a weapon and eventually you would just say, you know what? I'm gonna use that weapon until the end of the seed. I don't care what else I pick up because I can't trust a Chrysogrim to be a Chrysogrim and I can't trust a Girthing to be a Girthing. I'm just gonna use whatever I have in my hands. With this, what we did is we removed the ability for the item stat randomizer to randomize item names without you selecting an additional option. So the default option now is to randomize item stats without randomizing their names. So now a Marcel is a Marcel, a Fist of Tulkas is a Fist of Tulkas. And that means that when these players pick these items up, they are getting exactly what they got, but it may still have random item stats and a random sprite and a random palette.
Now, both players picking up the Dragon Helm, that's going to be huge, because I'm not sure what Ren has here. Going to fight Scylla, and this is a bit scary. Okay, that Namakura is not terrible.
Yeah, Scylla with spells is actually quite an easy fight once you know the setup, but Scylla without spells, if you're just using a Namakura, which is what Randomizer has decided to use here, it's a little bit more difficult. Now, on the other hand, Crazy for Blades will not have any trouble fighting Scylla. That Rune Sword is going to do work.
Yeah, we'll definitely be saving some time here and catching up slightly. Oh, nice TNT use here for Ren. Uh-oh. But this is the problem. How do you get in?
Unfortunately, Randomizer is going to have to confront all of Scylla's worms before he gets to the main body. Or he can go back there. This is the biggest problem, is trying to focus on Scylla's body without dealing with all of the worms in the way.
This is really bad for Ren. This might be a death, in fact. That level up could save him. Yo, let's go! Oh my goodness.
He uses the iframes from the level up to close the gap and face the main body.
Oh my goodness. And just like that, we are tied up the sink. Wow.
Now keep in mind, that is actually something that we would have lost had you kept in a popular feature that a lot of people want in these races. And that feature is the anti-freeze option. But if anti-freeze is turned on, you do not have invincibility frames from leveling up or collecting any relics.
Good points. Funny how those small things make a difference. Whew. Okay, well, an exciting start here, and it is back to being neck and neck. In fact, let's go ahead and switch over to Crazy's audio for the time being.
There's a Ring of Ares drop for Crazy for Blades. That means that he will actually have higher attack but lower defense if he equips it. That gives him a significant advantage because the Rune Sword gives him the range to not get hit, while the Ring of Ares gives him the attack power to get the job done. And here we see him skipping the MP max up, which is interesting.
I think the MP max up is going to be a new feature for a lot of people watching. That is obviously not in the vanilla game. So what's the deal with that?
Well, when we were developing the Magic Mirror preset, Mozilla and I have this theory that if you create a preset, you always want to add just that little bit extra to give everything something signature, something that makes the preset feel whole. In Aperture, it was the rainbow gravity boots and the addition of being able to go check the cave at entrance with Jewel of Open. In Magic Mirror, it was the addition of the MP Max Up. The MP Max Up refills your MP, increases your MP by 3, and also does gives you 5 additional hearts.
You'll have to bear with me for a moment. Something weird is happening. Yeah. I believe that is an ad on Ren's side of the stream. However, I have Turbo, so the question is, what is Twitch doing exactly?
And how did they give you an ad? Jeez.
Okay, well, for the time being, we'll keep it mysterious. I gotta figure this out later.
I will say that Ren picked up Wing Smash at Demon Card, and then immediately save split it away. That's what I can tell the audience.
I'm gonna have to purchase Super Turbo.
You'll have to purchase the Turbo Graphics FX.
Now that's a boomer reference, Eld. I don't know if anyone's gonna get that one. Reminder, Rondo of Blood is the best Turbo game. So it's got a Castlevania connection. All right, we're 5 seconds out, then the feed is going back on. All right, sorry about that. Now, what did you say about finding Wing Smash? What do you mean?
Yeah, Ren went down to Demon Card, found Wing Smash, and then immediately save split it away so that he could go back to Merman Statue.
I see. So Wing Smash is separate from Bat, meaning in Spellbound, if you find Bat, you are not guaranteed to be able to Wing Smash. This is interesting because, having to have like 2 relics to use the fastest form of movement means that, at least ideally, one player making the correct 50-50 doesn't just win them the race. In a lot of presets, if you happen to find Bat first, by going, let's say, left side versus right side, that can just give you a decisive advantage right there. So the hope is that with Spellbound, that becomes less common.
I won't get too deep into it, but we are doing some other things to shake up the meta coming this April. And if I say what it is, it's also going to spoil the April 1st preset, which we do a separate preset for every April Fools. It is a randomizer tradition that if you load up Soten.io on April 1st, you will not get the preset you generate, you will get the April Fools preset. But this one this year is going to be very interesting.
Well, everyone, please look forward to that. It sounds very exciting. So we have Wolf and nothing else. So we're going to be making our way to Coliseum, it looks like. But the in logic, I believe, is just Leapstone, correct?
That's right. Now, this is something that a lot of people miss out on. When you have Jewel of Open, a lot of people like to go down into caverns because it's a 66-33, right? You go down into caverns because you have a 66% chance of finding the exact thing that you need. However, that 33% chance, a lot of people ignore it after getting nothing in the 66. I hope that our racers don't do that here. Although I will say, I do believe the Coliseum is the correct route to do this if you have the Soul of Wolf. It's just an additional check that you get along the way. You're opening up a valuable shortcut to access Silver Ring from the teleporter later. It's just an all-around good move.
Yeah, it's almost certainly the right route, although we'll see that here in particular, with relics hidden, there is an interesting twist on whether or not you want to go to Minotaur and Werewolf. Normally, you can just check the item from the right side and determine, okay, either the boss fight is worth it or it isn't. I can get it now or I can get it later. But since there's no way to know, you have to commit ahead of time. And from what we've seen so far leading up to Bracket, basically everybody commits. It's really early into the run when you go to Coliseum 95% of the time. And probably a bit too early to gamble, although the gamble here could be powerful if it pays off.
I'll be honest, I think that it only moves the needle. Having the relic surprise mode on, really, it's just check if there's a relic at all. If there's not a relic, then you don't bother. And if there is one, you do.
That's what I've been doing, honestly. I think it's the right call. Although, look at this, a divergence here from Ren.
Ren is actually following straight-in logic. This is actually an area that we almost never see in randomizer tournaments because this staircase just takes so long to get up and done with, and it is so far out of the way of doing anything. I wonder why he chose this instead of doing the relic check like Crazy did.
Perhaps since the route going down into caverns didn't quite work, or I should say catacombs, maybe this is a move to try and get back ahead. If so, that's a good read because Crazy is slightly ahead now.
That's true. And it is a relic, which means that Crazy does have to commit to the boss fight. The boss fight won't be that hard for him. He's using Rune Sword. I hope that he remembers that Minotaur will try to block the Rune Sword if you stand too close to him and you throw the Rune Sword, which means that he could potentially get hit there, which might offset his momentum. But other than that, the Rune Sword should make this fight fairly easy.
Yeah, along with Slogra Gaibon and Scylla, Minotaur Werewolf is another fight where in Spellbound especially, it can get kind of tough if you're not well equipped, but Crazy's got what he needs to make this a pretty trivial fight. Nicely done there. One more.
And he remembered. Super good.
Picture perfect. Was it worth it? I'd say so. That's a nice find.
Power of Wolf is actually pretty strong here because we still haven't really gone down the long hallway yet. So being able to take that hallway at full wolf speed is going to be very nice. And if he uses it right, he can actually make up some of the time that he lost by getting that, going through these hallways at the tops of these towers. Purple Maria.
Yeah, looking a little different from normal, huh?
Oh, they finally found the clothes dye in the 17th century.
Wasn't that stuff really expensive? Like a royalty exclusive kind of a deal? I seem to remember that being the case. Especially for purples.
Ooh.
We are also going to see that with Richter later. Cool way to add just a little bit more randomization to the game. I think it's a nice touch.
Yeah, the Richter and Maria palettes, Crazy was the one that programmed them into the randomizer itself. Mozilla created the palette schemes. And, well, he created the palette schemes for Richter, did not create the ones for Maria. But then, the Alucard palette rando, which is what you saw earlier before the stream, all of the palettes were devised by me because, like, realistically, there's too many shared color elements on Alucard for us to make, like, truly good palettes on him, so we kind of did the best that we could, and those were all devised by me.
So how about this? Out of logic flight at top floor.
I actually like this maneuver from Ren, but I don't like the free riders for knocking him out of it.
It happens to everyone. Oh, there's another one. That's a little unlucky.
There we go. Worth it. So worth it. But now he knows where he needs to go to get Wing Smash so that he can have full-fledged bat.
That's true. It's a little unfortunate that he left it behind, but having that knowledge can also be very valuable.
A good untransformation.
The cool thing is, Bat's got some tech without Wing Smash that you rarely get to see. In Spellbound Seeds, not this one, but in Spellbound Seeds where it's early Bat but late Wing Smash, you get to see more things like Dive Kick Bat transformation, which can also be pretty quick, it's just not optimal in normal circumstances.
I do find it interesting how often they're skipping the MP max-ups. Like, I would never be coming back to Keep again. Unless I was coming back to defeat Richter. I would just go ahead and grab it. But that's me.
Especially now that you have Bats, it's got to be worth the time investment. My philosophy is always pick them up unless they're way out of the way. It's just really nice to have more MP.
Mm-hmm. Easily one of the most popular features that we've added.
I think it's just the new standard at this point, right? No one's clamoring to go back to the old ways on this. I think everyone likes the addition.
That said, I will let you know ahead of time. One of the new updates that we did to the randomizer in March made it so that we can actually put in reverse library card as an option for every preset.
For every preset, wow.
Yeah.
That's another popular feature.
So yeah, come the April 1st update, I think as of April 1st, reverse library card will now be available on Soten.io as an option for each preset, for any preset.
The reverse library card feature is one of those features where I'll often get people watching to ask, is this something I can do in the vanilla game? It feels so natural. You could be forgiven for thinking it might have been a secret feature in standard Soten, but no, Rando exclusive.
It's one of those things, and we kind of take this philosophy, right? Like, when we program things into the randomizer, we take a look at, you know, what did they do in the vanilla game, right? What kind of aspects or features were they looking for in the vanilla game, which basically seem to be, does it look cool? Is it cool? Okay, let's do it. And we kind of follow that same philosophy.
There we go, Ren taking our advice. Jumping back for that MP max up. Okay, let's talk about complexity. I think it's time. I believe the current chain is Jewel 1, Gravity 2, Power of Wolf 3, and then something is going to be 100% at Grand Falloon. And Spike Breaker is huge. So Ren is definitely going down to get Wing Smash and to get that next complexity layer. Can now very easily, no risk, get the Spike Breaker check as well. Eld, every time I have a co-commentator on here, I ask about complexity. Everyone's got a slightly different way of thinking about it. How do you like to think about complexity in this game?
I don't. Let me clarify that. I don't think about complexity while playing. When I'm playing the game, I will follow complexity in so as much to get to the next level when I need to. However, I don't do any counting. I don't do the confidence counts like Dinner Dog does. I literally base it off of feel. And I'll look at like, okay, I've got this, I got this out of logic. I'm gonna go here. And when somebody asks me later if they, how I can justify it, I'll just be like, it felt right at the time.
Now Ren finds a morsel and a hamburger, chooses to leave the hamburger behind. Very intriguing. So Eld is an intuitive player when it comes to complexity. I think it's a good way to do it. A lot of times if you overthink in the middle of a match and you deviate from your game plan, it can backfire.
Like, when you play enough randomizer, especially the Soten randomizer, you begin to understand that the randomizer has moods. And sometimes you can pick up on that mood very quickly, and it's very easy to say intuitively, no, we don't bother to go to this check because the randomizer is not putting anything there.
What a cool contrast. So Ren is going to beeline for Wing Smash. Meanwhile, Crazy goes to the library and turns the seed into kind of a lycanthrope seed early. All of the wolf relics now.
I do agree with you. I think that Flight is actually, well, yeah, because you have Gravity Boots. Yeah, Flight is at Grand Flume.
Well, truthfully, at this point, it could also be Silver Ring, I think.
It could be.
I'm interested in
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Meanwhile, shop always very important. Let's see what we got here. Library cards on the cheap. That benefits Crazy big time. What else we got? You know, with this much money, maybe a Stone Sword. What do you think?
I would buy library card, library card, library card. And that's exactly what he did. He goes for the life apples, for the Digon strats. I don't disagree.
Yeah, because, well, hey, let me,
Cannot
first
lose
of
a race
all,
to dying.
we're going to switch back to Ren's audio real quick. But yeah, because you're picking up all of these relics, you can't see them ahead of time. You're going to end up with stuff you normally don't get. For example, a Sprite card. And in that case, Life Apple can be a good investment too. You can use that for an HP and an MP refill.
I'm sure I wasn't the last person to use the life apple as an MP refill, and I will certainly stand on the hill that it is a good strategy when it's absolutely necessary.
For sure. Did we mention that the spells replace the familiar cards?
I kind of mentioned it.
So if you get a spell, you can also use it to enable a familiar.
There we see Renato picking up the MP max up. He now realizes that he is going to be wing smashing everywhere after he gets this done. He's going to have to defeat Cerberus a second time.
The one place where Marcel is not so good. Well, this and maybe Dracula.
Nah, Dracula is perfectly fine against it. Hits 4 times.
On paper, Dracula resists, but yeah, the multi-hit definitely helps.
Like, we actually just finished, Crazy and I just finished a seed where I used Marcel against Dracula.
Oh, very nice. Hey, did you know there are Vlad relics in this game? That's the first one.
You could have fooled me. I thought I programmed them all out.
Shoutouts to God's Child, by the way. There's Wing Smash for Ren. And we'll definitely be full clearing down here. We're gonna see both.
Yeah, because he knows that Grand Floon has a high likelihood of either being the next stage in complexity through a ring or the next stage in complexity through Leapstone. He definitely got Bat out of logic, and even if it is Leapstone, he wants that additional movement.
Meanwhile, we've got Reverse Alchemy for Crazy, which is not the most common route, but I think here it's quite good.
You know, I just realized this, and I think Scrimps was trying to hint at this earlier. Flight may be Mist plus Power.
Where did we find Power of Mist?
I think Power of Mist was somewhere either in Alchemy Lab or... No, it wasn't in Alchemy Lab. It was in, like, Olrox or something.
Now, as easy as it was to get to the Spike Breaker check in this particular seed, it's still a high complexity check, because it requires Bat and Echo in logic. So this could be huge. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it's another ring. Okay.
It's the other ring.
So one at Library, one down here in Catacombs.
means-
We're gonna have a convergence. This seed has been fantastic so far. This has been really good.
That means that Grand Floon can either be Mist or Leapstone.
and it's worth it either way for sure.
Especially with Wing Smash.
Hey, there's our first offensive spell for Crazy, Hellfire.
Hellfire is actually one of the few spells that I would actually want to find in this preset.
Where do you think
There's
it's
just
most
too many
useful?
Yeah, like it's the utility of it all is too big.
I'm a believer in using Hellfire for Mummy, unless you have a really good weapon. That fight's always kind of
I
scary.
love it on Mummy. I love it on Mummy. You know, you just do a few slashes and then you get the timing down right, and he dies right at the end of it, so you know you didn't waste any time with it. Oh.
Now, Ren is still doing item checks. A little surprising, but Ren doesn't know that library cards are in the shop for cheap. Oh my god. Yo, that's huge. I take it back.
Wow.
Good call for Ren. Meanwhile, Crazy gets a J.
I'm dumbfounded at the sheer luck. Just get lucky, lol.
Soden will never escape it. This is a Gamba game from now until the end of time. But that's why, look, you gotta give Ren points for doing those item checks. For example, I would not have been doing those with this kind of weaponry, but Ren had that sixth sense.
The Ice Brand check takes way too long to get into.
So I wonder if that library card is going to give Ren a slight lead here. It feels like it's pretty close. Although the routes have been so different, it's hard to tell right now.
I think it gives him an absolute lead. He has Silver Ring. He doesn't have Gold Ring yet, but he can get Gold Ring in such a circumstance where he's going to have the ability to get to the center of the castle quickly. This is going to give him reason to go to the library anyway.
Wow, this is perfect for Ren. So that library card saved. How long does it take to get from Grand Balloon to the Warp and then into the shop? 70 seconds?
At
More?
least a minute and a half.
Yeah. Nice find.
Thank you. Farewell for now.
This is something else that you mentioned Dinner Dog before, Eldridge. Dinner Dog is a believer in library skip. For just this reason, kind of all roads will lead to the library is the thinking. You're going to be coming back here later, almost certainly. So if you can delay it and save yourself a redundant library trip, oh, that can win you a race, no problem.
Almost for certain. The trick behind library is if you can delay it, wait as long as you can, because the reason why is because you never know when you're going to get missed. You want to have missed when you go to library. And there's Force of Echo, which is a bad grab, but now he knows that he needs to go to Silver Ring. We found Spike Breaker down at whatever location. I can't even remember now.
Well, here's the thing. So once again, a quick complexity chain recap, because I'm going to get confused. It's Jewel 1, then Gravity 2, Power of Wolf 3. Are we really going to do ads every 30 seconds here? Bear with me. We'll get this fixed. God, it might be every 15 minutes at this point.
The audience isn't missing much. He's exiting library.
Had to be
Always
for the
takes a
first
year and
game
a
of the
half,
tournament.
that's
I haven't had
the
this problem all through the qualifiers, but game number 1. Classic, this has never happened before moment. But yeah, it was Power Wolf 3, and then what was Complexity 4?
Form of Mist at Grand Balloon.
So that's 4. And then it's possible that it's Echo 5, correct? So Echo at Silver Ring. And then the other ring at Spikebreaker is 6. Holy Glass is 7. Merman 8. So that's one potential chain. We might have to come back from Castle 2 to Castle 1.
No, I think that they can full clear the first castle. Ren has both rings. And so does Crazy.
What about Merman statue?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so if Merman is in Castle 2, that's the problem. Oh, Crazy left without miss. That's a blunder. Oh, no.
It's going to cost him the race.
This is one of those situations where I believe you can guarantee with the right complexity read that has to be value a Grand Balloon. If the thinking was, it's Leapstone, I don't need it, well, you should be getting Leapstone anyway. Leapstone saves many minutes if you get it early enough. But you can't risk it not being missed in this situation. That's tough.
Well, there's two different situations here, right? We have to consider that he may not be tracking complexity, right? Like, he may be playing like I do, where you don't really pay attention to where and what you got, just what you have and how it feels. The other side of it is that he may not be remembering that Power of Wolf is a logic relic, which that comes up so infrequently that when you initially said it, I was like, Power of Wolf, how's that? Oh, yeah. And so, like, it took even me, the person who programs this thing, a minute to remember that, oh yeah, that is actually a thing.
Oh yeah, Soden's a complicated game, so that is brutal. Now, it's not over, but what it's going to require here is a big play. Here's the good news. If you're rooting for Crazy on this one, by the time Crazy goes back to pick up Mist, he's going to realize he's way behind. And he will be doing a Gamba route, for sure, in Castle 2. So, if he plays his cards right and gets lucky with a Crazy Castle 2 route, he can definitely come back, but it's going to be tough now.
Also, it could end up being for a more exciting match, too. If Renonful takes this first game out of the match, we are doing 2 races tonight. If he takes the first one, he may slack off in the second one and make a mistake.
That's always an interesting question. If you've got a 1-game lead or a 1-game deficit, how do you approach that second game? It's the game beyond the game. You know, how do you read your opponent? Do you play defensively? Do you play offensively and go for a crazier route because you got a 1-game buffer? Different players have different philosophies. Oh, but look at this. It's Merman in Castle 1, which actually I think... Oh my god, it's fine. Wait a minute, it's fine. Doesn't that confirm that it's Echo at Silver?
It has to be Echo at Silver Ring.
So Crazy's gonna get away with this miss skip. Wow.
That's wild.
Was this a read from Crazy? Everyone in the chat, and us, we were concerned this was a GG, but perhaps this was intentional. Basically what you're doing is you're saying, look, one of these mischecks is going to be a random, and my read is that it has to be Echo in the chain. Oh, I don't know, though. Yeah. I mean, oh, this is tough. We're going to have to ask Crazy during the post-game interview, but if this was intentional, it was risky, but it was genius. If it wasn't intentional, then the seed is just working out in Crazy's favor, at least for the time being. Now, you'll notice Ren got to skip that boss fight. Come back and pick that up through the Mist Gate. That's good.
And here we see him saving the game, or doing the MP refill. That's a really good play. He needs to keep moving. Now, it's 100% possible. It is possible that Crazy actually made a read that we didn't read. But it's also, I'm going to say it's more likely he got lucky.
Well, the thing is, like, even if I knew for a fact that it was going to be Echo later in the chain, I think for Mist and or Leapstone, it's worth the time investment. So, yeah, either it was, Either it was a good route for Crazy, just happened to work out for him, or he calculated that it wouldn't be worth the time investment for Leapstone/Mist, for movement, combat, and other things. So we'll get more info later on, but for now, Ren is doing Clock Room, and Crazy heading down to the J.
While we have some downtime here, I would like to address the situation with Powerwolf. Some people may be actually confused about Powerwolf being a complexity level relic. What ended up happening is about the second year that the randomizer was actually a thing. Wild Mouse realized from other people mentioning it to him that Soul Wolf plus Power Wolf lets you easily access the button to open the bridge to get into the catacombs. Now, this is something that is not typically known by a lot of players, but it is technically in logic for most presets. It does not come up very often, but it does create the very interesting situation where we have, hold on, Crazy's getting holy glasses at Holy Symbol.
So that means
Super
Final
good.
Vlad is going to be somewhere random in Council 2.
That's right. But Powerwolf being an enabler for access to the catacombs means that Demon Card and Granfaloon both have to have the exact same exit requirements. Now, exit requirements in randomizer presets means that if you do not have the relic as part of the access chain to get into the catacombs, both Granfaloon and Demon Card must have the ability to get you out. Which means that if you have Power of Wolf to get into Granfaloon and Leapstone or Gravity Boots or Mist plus Power is not part of the chain to get you in there, then Granfaloon and Demon Card are both guaranteed to give you something that'll get you out. It's actually something that we discovered when we were doing one of the Soten puzzles in the Long Library.
Hey, a Moblung for Ren. Does have an Iron Shield, I think. Got that from Chapel. Might be worth switching over at some points.
Now, Jupiter, we've had a long-running debate in the Long Library about which shield is the best to have the shield spell besides Alucard Shield. Let's throw out the gimmicky, ha-ha, we nuke everything idea. Which is the second best shield to cast the spell with?
You mean the worst balancing in video game history? Yeah, we can't count the Alucard Shield for sure. That one is gonna win any contest of this kind. Between Iron Shield and Medusa, I'm on Team Iron Shield, and I'm probably biased a little bit because I used to do glitchless speedruns, and that's the premier offensive option for that category. But it's really good. It's really good. You have to learn a couple of setups for certain bosses to make the most out of it, but it's really good and a little more consistent in my experience than Medusa. What about you?
I am a Fire Shield believer.
Fire Shield, all right. Throwing that into the mix. That's another great one.
Yes, Fire Shield, I did the testing, and if you have 2 mana prisms, Fire Shield is as fast as Masamune on taking out Dracula.
Yeah, if we're going to be including Fire Shield, I could be persuaded on that one for sure. What about Skull Shield, though? Skull Shield, you get a cool laser beam.
90 MP, too costly.
It does okay damage. A lot of the shield spells aren't so useful, but they are very cool. You have the Skull Shield, Laser Beam, you've got the Dark Shield, like creepy face, and then of course the cow with the leather shield.
I only have one problem with the Dark Shield spell, and this is the same problem that everybody else has, I believe. It hits basically once the entire screen. Like, a few places it hits multiple times, but I don't think it ever hits more than like 3 times.
So Crazy's got a pretty commanding lead right now. Did Crazy opt not to do all rocks?
I think he actually skipped all rocks.
Huh. Now, in a one Vlad situation, I would consider that ambitious. But if it's nothing here for Ren, Crazy's gonna win. So just an absolutely huge moment coming up. Also, where's Ren going?
There's Tooth and Vlad. It's looking good for Crazy so far.
Oh, just an MP refill here, I think. Yeah. Left side, huh? From Crazy.
I disagree with doing left side in a one Vlad situation.
Yeah, it's more the opposite. People tend to go left side.
Gamble,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. If he's going to make the gamble to skip all rocks, he needed to go right side.
I agree, because normally what you'll do is you'll go left side if you only need one Vlad, not if you only have one Vlad. So I think, from what I can tell here, Crazy is wanting to kick off the tournament with a bang, with a considered but very ambitious route that does some skips. And, I mean, it's working out nice. We'll see what Creature's got. Also a Mana Prism here on the way. Good item check.
Very strong for this particular position in the game. He doesn't have a lot of MP left, and while he can visit this save room at the bottom, after he kills Creature, does he really want to go all the way over to the save room, or does he just want a Mana Prism in the hallway? I would like to say, though, it is wonderful to be able to comment on these tournament matches, because you get to see the absolute pinnacle of Symphony of the Night gameplay.
Everyone is so talented in the community. Everyone's always out here grinding. Such a great community to be a part of. Yeah, I'm with ya. It's also a lot less stressful participating from the commentary booth. That's another positive. Okay, 0 for 1 for Ren. If Sword Bro's got nothing, this is looking like an easy, crazy win. And we were just saying it was going to be the exact opposite. Where it was a guaranteed or near guaranteed Ren win.
Yeah. Who knew that Crazy was going to turn it around with luck and gumption?
All right, here we go. 2 separate checks. Summon Spirit, Leapstone. Leapstone saves a lot of time, but oh, that's not looking good now.
Worth of time.
So I think here's the win condition for Ren now. Bat's got a Vlad. Ren has got to go right side, and it has got to be a loaded right side.
It has to have like a Medusa Vlad. That's what it has to have. It can't be a Beelzebub Vlad. It has to be a Medusa Vlad. Or an Akmadon Vlad.
So possible, but I'd say the odds right now are about 90-10 in Crazy's favor.
It also depends on how Crazy treats this castle, because Crazy does have the Crazy route, which is to drop down from Galamoth and do reverse entrance to get to Bees, and then return that way, which is really awkward.
I like this use of Tetra Spirit here for Ren. Even if you have Soul Steal, Tetra Spirit's straight up better. It's faster and it uses less MP. Unless you don't have a good weapon and or a Leapstone. But yeah, in this situation, definitely recommend Tetra. Ooh, Stone Sword time! Crazy remembered. Here's where that investment's going to pay off.
There we go. Get that Marcel after him. Marcel, absolutely my favorite weapon in the game.
In general, Soden's got amazing sound design, but the Marcel in particular, very satisfying weapon. It's got that good sound effects. Alright, I mean, this is it for Ren now. Cube for Crazy.
Zoe. Let's see, he's got Death and Force of Echo and Gas Cloud left. 3 Vlads for 3 checks. I don't like his odds.
Oh my goodness, Ren is making the right call. It's a race again.
If Renantral gets a Vlad at Medusa, he wins.
Now, people in the chat were speculating that Ren would go left side because that's the standard play. This tells me Ren feels behind. Whenever you deviate from your standard route, there's a reason for it. Ren feels behind, and it's a good read. Could
Ren
be
is at 50
a
minutes and
race
nobody's
winning
fault
read,
time.
in
He
fact.
feels behind. That's how it works.
You know, Iron Shield, I was singing its praises. It's not good for this fight. I mean, neither is Medusa, to be fair, but Fire Shield owns versus Medusa. That's a case for Fire Shield.
Crazy now knows that he missed a Vlad somewhere. He no longer can ignore the fact that right side had a Vlad.
Nothing in Medusa.
That means that it's at either Trio or Akmadon or Bees. Oh, he's... Which way is he going? Come on, Crazy. Don't keep me in suspense, man.
I can't wait for more ads to play during a pivotal moment on Ren's side. It's not even Ren's fault, it's Twitch's fault. I pay good money for Twitch Turbo.
I mean, $12 is a lot of money for a subscription to a streaming website.
Now, it's a good deal for me because I live on this website, but I'd
true.
like for it to work.
I pay for Twitch Turbo myself because I, too, host races and I don't want to be interrupted.
Yeah, it's just the easiest way to do it. Looking forward to the next Tidbit tournament later this year, by the way.
Oh, it's going to be so good. All right, let's see what Death and Mummy have.
Soul Steel, not a Vlad. If it's possible that Galamoth is empty.
Oh, this is so bad. He has to go to Galamoth. He doesn't have a choice. He has to go to Galamoth, and he cannot leave it behind.
Well, Mummy's got one if Galamoth is empty. So all of a sudden now Ren is the favorite. This is the most back and forth race possible. If Galamoth is nothing, Ren will win because that means it's guaranteed to be Trio and Bees.
No. Based off of the feel of this seed, I'm calling it. Galamoth has a Vlad.
This is an intuitive read here. Okay.
This is an intuitive read.
Well, I'm gonna stick. I'm a right side player myself. I'm gonna stick with my right. I'm gonna say we're going 2 for 2 on right side. Unless, of course, there are some checks we haven't seen in the first castle. Are there any?
We did Succubus, we did Holy Glasses. I don't think that we skipped anything.
We did Power Wolf too at the start.
Like, I think between the two racers, we've seen everything in the first castle. So, Deus Ex Machina, we understand that first castle is clear.
This is another fight where Iron Shield not quite the best. You know what? Yeah, I'm going Team Fire Shield. If it's between Iron Shield and Medusa, which is the common debate, I'm gonna go Iron. But Fire Shield, I think is just... Yeah, I mean, the fight would have been over like 3 times already with Fire Shield. You gotta go with that one.
It's just too strong.
Changing my allegiance. Oh, it's Rib! Okay, I think it's a 50-50. It's either Galamoth. Oh, it's a Soten classic. Here we go.
It has to be a Galamoth.
Coin flip time. Which meme check is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Galamoth? Is it gonna be Beelzebub?
My real question is, does Ren bother with creature? One Vlad missing says skip creature. That's how the typical meta logic goes.
This is it. This is the deciding moment here. Take a look at Crazy's side. No ads, no ads, no ads. Fire shield.
Fire shield.
Here we go. Ring of Vlad and Galamoth. Oh, that's so bad for Ren. B's got a whole lot of nothing.
That means that Renanchel must skip Creature and has to beeline it for Galamoth.
Now, in a 4 out of 5 situation, that's actually the standard route to skip Creature. But Ren feels behind, so might go for it anyway. Dark Metamorphosis, not so good. Is there any chance that Crazy does a reverse right side air and goes down rather than around?
Crazy is the inventor of reverse right side.
That's so good then for Crazy.
However, I think considering that this is a tournament match, he goes for the correct path and teleports back to Keith.
Are you ready for the next era of OLED gaming? This is going to be the last advertisement, I swear to God. And then we will fix this for game 2 and this will never happen again.
Sometimes you just have to understand that the randomizer has a mood, and the mood is almost always good. Now here we see this amazing play from Renanchel. He's going up from Beelzebub into Caverns. If he heads straight for Galamoth, he could still take this.
Well, actually, Eld, we don't see it. We need the radio play-by-play.
Okay, so basically he's doing Power of Wolf through reverse entrance into Bat. The Wolf into Bat transformation carries the momentum, so he gets a really good speed buff there. He's heading through the shortcut on his way to Reverse Caverns. If he skips Force of Echo and Doppelganger, then he could potentially still steal it from Crazy. But Crazy did take that play that I said he would, where he teleports back to Keith.
Very nice, Eld. Thank you. That was some great Soden radio play-by-play. That was good. Thankfully, we're back now. We're on the air once again. Got the video stream going.
No, he doesn't turn around! He keeps going! Oh no! Renanchel has just forsaken the entirety of the Acid.
Look, hey, it makes sense. You get 2 for 1 in terms of the density over here. It's faster this way. Not good though. Where's Crazy going? God, this is actually gonna be so close.
I weep for Renanchel in this particular moment. Keep in mind that I am friends with almost everybody in the Symphony, in the Soten community. It is heartbreaking to see a match go like this when it could have been so close. As many times as I cheer my friends that win, I have to weep for my friends who lose.
Well, I can say whoever loses this one is going to feel a little irritated. It's going to be a heartbreaker no matter what. Because both players have made some really good decisions, and both players have been playing great, and it's going to come down to the mercurial nature, good vocab word, the mercurial nature of Symphony of the Night rando routing. That's all that's going to matter. There's Vlad number 4 for Crazy.
And the worst part is that Crazy's going to get the last Vlad in the perfect spot. He's going to get the trio, and he's going to get the last Vlad, and then he's going to be immediately able to just open the door to Dracula.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, is there any world where you skip trio? I don't think so.
No.
All right, so Crazy's gonna have this one.
Route to trio, but he's not skipping it.
Surely not, right?
I would skip Alchemy Lab before I would skip trio.
The thing is, we're taking this
special. Quarter circle forward.
We're taking this kind of weird route. It's not necessarily indicative of anything. Okay, that's fine. Going to the
No,
left,
this
that's
is the
good.
faster route. Yeah, this is technically the faster route if you don't get picked on by the imps. You can make it to trio a lot faster through here instead of going by the teleporter.
We don't see it too often. I think that's part of the reason why those imps are tough to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay.
The imps are not the only reason to go by the teleporter. The teleporter itself, and by its value strictly by being a teleporter, is also a good reason to go through there, but...
Marcel putting in some work here. I mean, I guess Crazy could die. But, well, hang on. Working with, like, 0 defense right now. GG.
Yeah, he did buy 16 life apples, that's true.
Oh, right. Yeah, and the Sprite Familiar is active. Good call. That would have been exciting. Think he's dead, then he comes back from the grave. But no, it's fine. So, lots of insurance, and that means there is literally no way for Ren to catch up short of a power failure. That's the ultimate bailout. But yeah, overall, this has been a fantastic start to the tournament bracket. Couldn't have asked for a better seed, even with the Twitch turbo issues.
That's right. No, this has been a fantastic match. Both of these racers are demonstrating what it is to be a Symphony of the Night randomizer racer. Like, the routing, the decisioning, the making, like, the playing off of each other. These guys know each other like the back of their hands. Like, they probably know more about each other than they know about themselves. So it's really nice to see this kind of play off of each other. It's super good.
Now, it is going to be best of 3. We're going to have 2 games tonight. And if needed, a game 3 will be separate. That's how it's always going to go. Both to give the players a break and minimize seed bleed, and also to keep it exciting and avoid spoilers on YouTube. Having game 3 separate is just the better way to do it. So that'll be standard policy. We'll see, though. I think Ren is going to be hungry for a win. Almost had this one, was playing great.
No, I do believe that Randomizer is going to be starving for a win after this. He will be so upset at the fact that he lost just because he walked right by the entrance to where he should have gone.
I think the moment of the seed, ultimately, was Crazy's decision not to go down to Grand Falloon. We were saying it was a good idea. Everyone in chat was saying it was a good idea. Crazy decided otherwise. If Crazy had gone down, even with this route divergence here, where Ren has to fight Galamoth later, I think Ren still would have been ahead. So that was the pivotal moment. Potentially a brilliant call.
Combo from Crazy for Blades. Crazy for Blades using the Marcel and the Holbein Dagger. So he's got an offhand Holbein Dagger that can do damage behind the Marcel. This is a fantastic strat. I love it.
People say Soten combat is easy, and sometimes it is, but it's always dynamic. There are so many different combinations. If you're looking to optimize combat in this game, it's very complicated and very satisfying to improve at. Crazy's doing a great job here.
There we go. Okay, so he's not using the Marcel to get the floating damage, but he is able to do a very easy Dracula fight this way. I don't blame him for doing it this way at all.
This is probably a 2-cycle.
Yes.
Those crits are helping. Uh-oh, oh, he's dead. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
He didn't care! Life apples! Life apples! Digon strats for the win!
Just a little swag to wrap up game number 1. Great stuff. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break here. Eld, we'll have you on for game number 2.
Oh, absolutely.
And we are back for game number 2 between Ren and Crazy. Hello again, Eld.
Hey, what's going down?
Now, with any luck, the ad problem has been fixed. The timer is not, though. Let's start the timer. There we go. We've got a red Richter here.
With a pink Dracula.
Wait, is that new? I knew about Richter
All of this
Maria. I did
is
not
new.
know about Dracula. I was not paying enough attention game one.
Yeah, like, we started doing this 2 weeks ago, and yeah, like it all came out very well. Mozilla did the Dracula recolors.
Now, I spoke to our players a little bit during the break, and I do have some information about Crazy's decision making. I can quickly share. The TLDR is that yes, it was 100% intentional to skip Grand Balloon. And here was the thinking. Crazy had the right read that it had to be either Mist or Leapstone. Decided that, hey, look. Ooh, library card set. Hang on. Let's do this, and then I'll keep rambling. Gotta check the shop first, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're just cutting right into it.
I'm interested.
Power Wolf, okay.
Farewell for
Library cards for 4K. Nothing useful in the accessories.
I'm interested in this.
Checks the weapons.
Pretty bad
Alucard
shop.
shield.
Farewell for now.
I think I saw an Alucard shield in there. They all scrolled by the shields way too fast.
Well, that'll be worth buying. Mystic Pendant would have been good, except it's duplicator money, so no chance. And then a library card for 4K is what we got.
Hellfire, not
Start.
a bad spell to start off with.
But yeah, real quick, just to wrap up what I was saying, the thinking from Crazy was, has to be Leapstone or Mist. If it's Leapstone, I'm just gonna gamble it and go without it. If it's Mist, and one of the Mist checks is a random Vlad, I'm just gonna go without it. But progression is going to be Echo, so I'm gonna take the chance. And if I lose, I lose, but this is a strong play for game one of the bracket. And he was absolutely right. That won him the race, straight up. So it was intentional. We were panicking, chat was panicking, nothing to worry about. Crazy had it under control.
I do find it interesting they're starting with a stone sword here. The stone sword says that it may, quote unquote, petrify enemies. Jupiter, have you had much experience with the stone sword? Do you actually know what it does when it petrifies an enemy?
Well, I use it for Doppelganger, and that's literally it.
Okay, I will explain to you how this works, only for the sheer sake of the nerds and the number generators out there. The Stone Sword and the Ice Brand are the only two swords that share one thing in common. They are the only two weapons that have stun frames greater than like 5. The Ice Brand has a stun frame counter of 8, and the Stone Sword has a stun frame counter of 40. So enemies who are susceptible to the stun frame counter will be frozen in place for that many frames. Which means that you could potentially use the Stone Sword to animation lock certain enemies.
Now, how does that tie in with the item rando? For example, could an Ice Brand inherit Stone Sword stun frames? How does that work?
Interesting, because I actually know this. The Stone Sword's stun frames and the Ice Brand stun frames are not randomized. They are the only two swords whose stun frames are not randomized.
So those are always vanilla, and then other weapons can't get those, or can they? Like
Correct.
could a
No other
Marcel
weapon
also
will
be a
get
stun?
It used to be that you could end up with a Chrysogrim with the Stone Sword stun frames, but it is no longer possible.
Gotcha. That's very interesting. Yeah, deep into the weeds on Soten mechanics. Good stuff.
We actually learned that while programming Battle Mage. So,
Now, this library card route just didn't work, right? Straight up just didn't work. And both players took it. Both players
I
might
wouldn't
be
say it
feeling
didn't.
behind, or they might assume their opponent's also done the same thing.
I think that this library card route works perfectly because
tell me
now
more. Why
they
do you
have
think
a
that?
shield and they have a stone sword. The stone sword actually has a very fast attack speed, regardless of how many actual hits that it does. Them getting a firebrand here is relevant. Them having a shield to be able to shield dash with, also very relevant. The shield also does more than shield dashing. It also allows them to get quick recovery from landing from long falls. So it's not entirely lost on having library card. They also did density checks, which is an incredibly good maneuver in any Symphony of the Night randomizer seed.
You can tell just by looking, but Ren is one of the very best shield dashers in the business. So I think having a shield will especially benefit Ren, although Crazy no slouch, really good at this movement as well. So you're right, there are some upsides. It might depend on how much money is lying around. Even one library card can be super valuable, so we'll see. Anyway, we have a divergence, which is kind of interesting. Ren's opting to go down to Spirit Orb first.
Yeah, Randomizer decided to go down to Spirit Orb from Library directly. Meanwhile, Crazy for Blades decided to open up the entrance teleporter and come up from there so that he could check Cube of Zoe first. But Ren gets to the Gravity Boots first, which means that he is the first one to unlock the next layer of our cake.
Good call from Ren.
Oh, he did open the entrance teleporter? Okay. According to Cesar, he did open that teleporter, so we are able to see that.
By the way, Covenant Stone here, pretty easy to pick up on the way. I'm sure Crazy will get that too. Plus 15 attack, pretty huge. So even with a bad weapon, even with no weapon, that's a huge buff.
That's true. But with the Fire Sword of Oberon in their hands, that special attack being able to hit enemies multiple times, plus being a two-hit sword, as a lot of people are aware of in Symphony of the Night, fantastic weapon.
It's one of my favorite things about Soden, and it shows you how strong Alucard is. How often can you say, even no weapon is a B-tier weapon? Because in this case, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, you take Vampire Killer from half of the Belmonts, and they're not worth that much.
Yeah, maybe carried? Oh, that's a... Whoa, hang on. Was that the real deal? That might have been a real Alucard shield there. And a talisman.
Talisman OP.
Another divergence. Crazy going back to do these alchemy lab checks immediately.
Yeah, Crazy's going for the 66% split. Meanwhile, Renantrel is banking on the Gravity Boots also unlocking all Leaf Stone locations.
Sprite card.
Not bad.
Hey, look, we saw it pay off last time.
Renantrel opening up the B-tier fist weapon against Minotaur there, because it is a faster attack than any of the weapons that he has.
Have you ever tried out Hellfire on Minotaur Werewolf? I wonder if it'd
I
be
have
any
not.
good. I don't think that I have.
I've done it on a few other bosses, but not them.
Excuse me, what is this?
Crazy's out here using either a Vorpal or a Chrysogrim, one of the two.
Was that in that room by the elevator?
It's a Chrysogrim in the room from the cannon, yeah.
Well, that is an insane pickup. Jesus. So huge combat advantage. I don't think we'll see that. In fact, we definitely won't see that item pickup from Ren. That is massive cannon value. Oh my god.
That cannon is one of the more unique rooms in the game. One of the best things about Symphony of the Night is how many just cool, neat things that they put in this. You know, like just whew.
The cool factor of Soden is off the charts. So Crazy's got a lead here, both in terms of the routing and in terms of the random items. Strong start. We'll see if that continues.
Let's see. He's not following the same chain that Renantral is, where he knows that Gravity Boots is not unlocking anything by itself without going to like a Leapstone location. Although I don't think either of them has checked Fairy.
So Ren's not going to get the Chrysogram, at least not that one, but might get that Masamune on the way. There's also a Moonstone, which is good.
Masamune, my second favorite weapon in the game.
What's your first?
Marcel.
Oh, you're right, you mentioned that earlier. Game 1, yeah. Since we're sharing our top 2 favorite weapons, and chat, feel free to participate on this one. What are your top 2 favorite weapons? Chime in. I'm going to go with Fist of Tulkas number 1, and then Ice Brand number 2. Used to be my favorite, but Fist of Tulkas is too cool. However, I like how Ice Brand is a no-nonsense weapon, very humble weapon, but it gets the job done. It's the one standard element that Dracula does not resist.
That's right. Dracula resists lightning and fire, does not resist ice.
Alright, so unfortunately just bait
Turn
there
Dracula blue.
on the way to Malthus. I'm sorry, Karasuman. It's Karasuman and Soten Streamer. Oh, there we go. Come on, Streamer, it's Karasuman. So bait and then the real deal. That actually means, I think you're right, Eld. Because of that library card pickup, now, using that library card initially, probably the better play.
Now, here's something that we're going to get to see out of Renantral. We're not going to get to see it out of Crazy for Blades. Crazy for Blades melted Karasuman. But Renantral, oh, he's going to use the Masamune. Okay, never mind. Karasuman is actually the only boss that you can freeze besides any of the doppelgangers. Karasuman is the only boss you can freeze with a stone sword.
Not petrified, just freeze. Is that right?
It just freezes him. It doesn't turn him into a statue or anything, but it locks him in place. Like, no matter where he is on the screen, what position is it he's in, whatever animation frame he's on, he just stays in that frame.
Gotcha. Now, in this seed, our first Vlad coming much sooner than in Game 1. Ring of Vlad.
I do appreciate our racers checking the 7-item attic here. This is one of my favorite locations to just jump into if I need an item.
Back to back.
Vlad, second Vlad at the seed. There we go. Now we have in-logic flight.
It's a simple enough start here. Gravity 1, Leapstone 2.
And
7 more steps to go.
Dagger. Crazy can use the Holbein Dagger and the Chrysogram against Dracula, and that'll be a pretty sufficient melt.
Let me ask, would you prefer Chrysogram and Holbein or Chrysogram and Rune Sword? Both options on the table.
Oh, Rune Sword every single time. Maximum range, and the Rune Sword will hit more often than the Holbein.
Isn't it funny how you get such a crazy cool sword from a dodo bird?
It was okay. I'm gonna age myself a little bit with this, okay? But don't hate. When I was a teenager playing this game when it first came out, there was a rumor that went around that there was a sword more powerful than the Chrysogram. My friend told me, he was like, "There's a sword more powerful than the Chrysogram." I was like, "Oh yeah?" He's like, "Yeah, it's stronger than the Chrysogram and it's awesome." And I was like, "Oh, what's it called? Where do I get it?" And he's like, "You have to kill the dodo bird. You have to kill the dodo bird until you get the Rune Sword. And it's more powerful than the Chrysogram. And it has like a red blade and all." Okay, so I went ahead and killed the dodo bird a bunch of times because I was like, I want to get this new sword. I got the Rune Sword. Imagine my disappointment when it's not even close to as powerful as the Chrysogram, but also imagine how cool I thought it was that there was a sword in the game that spelled a word in German in the sky.
Yeah, Runesword is such a fantastic weapon in terms of the cool factor. It's good as well. In fact, it can even be very good. But you're right, in the vanilla game, you get it so late, it can't quite keep up with the other top tiers at your disposal. That's a beautiful thing about Rando, though. Because the items can be more or less anywhere, some of these more niche weapons get a chance to shine. You know what I think the best example of that is, honestly? Even more than Runesword? Werebane. Who was talking about Werebane when they were playing this game as a kid or whatever? Nobody. But in Rando, low-key one of the best.
Yeah, when I first found the Werebane as a casual player, played this game casually for 20 years, and then I found speedrunning. It was like, Werebane was that one weapon where I would actually try to farm hunting girls while I was in First Castle, because I liked using the special to down bosses. So, like, when you get into the randomizer, and I'd be like, oh, look, it's Werebane, this is cool. And everybody's like, what's so cool about Werebane? I was like, watch this.
If you don't believe me, hopefully we see it later in tournament. That special that Eldritch is alluding to really is super top tier. Okay, S-Stock, and okay, here's Jewel. So, man, good route again from Crazy. Going to Power Wolf, sometimes we see that skipped, but not too much more to do here, so it makes sense.
I try to avoid this check as often as possible. I do not like the Power Wolf check. It is my least favorite check in the game to do.
Yeah, just the zombie spawns are completely unpredictable and lose so much time.
What I can tell you is that if you kill a zombie without it hitting you, you will have 2 backdashes before the timer starts on a zombie being able to spawn again.
That's every time I do that exact maneuver. It's 2 backdashes, then you hold forward and try and react, then 2 more and attack.
Yep.
With Leapstone, we saw that from Crazy. You can just spam it, and that mostly works. And it's a little bit faster.
The respawn timer on zombies gets shorter, though, if you get hit by one.
Why? It's so weird. Why is that?
I don't know.
Oh,
the game
weird.
hates us.
Soten is an amazing game. It's an all-time great game. It's also an all-time jank game. Now, it's kind of cool that we get to see a Forbidden Route here from Crazy in set number 1 of the bracket. This is a cool area, often neglected. Can be a decent shortcut, though.
I absolutely love the Forbidden Route and, like, the aesthetic of it. And here's a little bit of trivia. Did you know, okay, so I don't know how many people understand how the game works on this programming level, but in Symphony of the Night, Alucard is an entity. The enemies are entities. The items on the ground are entities. Relics are entities. They're all controlled through the entity table. There are elements in the background of Forbidden Route that are also controlled through the entity table, despite the fact that they are just background graphics.
What does that mean, though? Practically speaking.
What it means is if you went through and you tried to make a mod that removed every single enemy from the map, okay? You wanted to remove every single enemy, candle, item. You would also end up removing entities that are background elements, or the screen scroll lock entities as well. There are entities that control that.
I see. Well, okay, so is that one of the reasons this game has a reputation for being hard to hack?
It is part of it. Like, understanding how the entity tables works is one of the most complex things. I actually had so many people asking about it in the long library that I created an entities primer that I have hosted on Google Docs that I can just post and give to people.
I'll have to check that out myself, actually, maybe learn something. Now,
I'll send it over.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Ren gets the bad news, though. That Sword Bro's got a whole lot of nothing, just Spirit Orb. So it's gonna have to be a Power Wolf check. This is gonna give Crazy a definitive lead. with his first 20 minutes. I don't know how much exactly, probably a couple of minutes.
Yeah, like this seed is not. It is, but it is also not being generous. It was like at the very start, it was like, oh, I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to give you all of the things, and then all of a sudden. I'm sure our racers felt like they were really going somewhere until the very last minute.
Now, Ren is going back to the shopkeeper. I guess he's found some money in the meantime. Let's see how much. Oh, he's got a diamond. That's huge. All right, what's the purchase here? 2 library cards.
Perfect. No notes. Anti-venoms for iframes, no notes.
Smart. In fact, that might become relevant right now. In fact, if Crazy does not have access to these, perhaps Ren gets a Spike Breaker check earlier. So Eld, let me ask you, it's become the narrative around Spellbound as a preset that doing Spike Breaker out of logic is the single strongest play you can do. So it's imperative to learn all of these crazy iframe strats. How does that all work? Like, what are our players looking for to make that possible?
Well, okay. If you are a player named Dare you don't need anything. That's the hyperbolic answer, the meme answer. Realistically, you need iframes. The best sources of iframes are either going to be the very particular potions that are focused on healing status or hit points or MP. So Mana Prism, Potion, High Potion, Elixir, or Anti-Venom and Uncursed. All of those items grant iframes. Or you want spells. Spells will also grant iframes to allow you to do that check out of logic. Now, every player has different strengths and weaknesses when it comes to doing that Spike Room blind. We have some players who are able to actually commit to doing that room with just the Shield Rod and Leaf Stone. Or we have other players who are much like myself. They need to have either Bat, or they need to have Power of Mist, or they need to have the combination Duplicator, Potion, and Heart Refresh. Now, Heart Refresh acts as a very special particular healing item because its iframes do not occupy the same digital space as other iframe items. So you can layer Heart Refresh with other iframe items, whereas if you just spam Anti-Venom, you will have frames in there where you can get hit, and the Spike Breaker entity, or the Spike entity will hit you.
There is a science to getting through that Spike Room. Very complicated, lots of options. Every year that goes by, the community gets better and better at getting through there. I remember, like, a few years ago, getting through there with a Shield Rod in Lycanthrope was considered very impressive and kind of peak gameplay for that room. Nowadays, that's standard, and players have really pushed the envelope with crazy stuff. Because of the lack of spells, certain options are off the table unless you happen to get them along the way. But yeah, Summon Spirit, Hellfire can also be used.
Yes. There is a particular strat where Dare demonstrated it in a video. You can use it going through that room. You can Summon Spirit, backdash, Summon Spirit, backdash, Summon Spirit, backdash through long sections of that room. And then the rest of it is literally get hit, use the iframes to establish the chain again.
It sounds tough. I can assure you, having tried this myself, it's even tougher than it sounds. Very few players can do that consistently, but if you can, it can be a literal game changer. Ooh, Moblong for Crazy. That's huge, because once again, now Spike Room becomes potentially a lot easier. Crazy getting the goods here.
I will say that Crazy for Blades and Ranoncle are not typically ones to try to do the absolute insanity out of logic checks on Spike Room. They will usually typically go for the more traditional styles. I don't think that they even know Dark Wolf. It's just simply something that not a lot of people practice. Like, everybody and their cousin during the Lycanthrope tournament were practicing Dark Wolf, and when I came back from my hiatus at the end of that tournament, I felt like everybody had jumped light years ahead of me, and I just stopped racing.
Yeah, that's the advantage of doing a tournament where it's just one preset exclusively. You get less variety, but everyone kind of locks in and practices whatever skills that preset tests. Now, however, despite all the talk about, oh, how are you gonna get through the Spike Room? There's just Spike Breaker and Succubus, so totally solved. No longer a problem.
Yeah, I don't... Spike Breaker being a Succubus, I would have missed that, because I skipped Succubus, but...
Really? The
Oh,
lone
I'm a
believer
Succubus
in Succubus Skip, huh? I remember floating that route idea a couple years ago. People are still calling me out on it because it's really fallen out of fashion. But you're a believer, huh?
I am. The dialogue has to load. You have to go through the dream sequence. You have to get all the way over there. You have to get all the way back. Now, the 6 items, the 6 or 7 items, I will say, usually ends up being 2 to 3, if that. And most of the time, they're not useful anyway. It's almost always food or meal tickets. I would much rather spend my time doing checks.
So this is looking like a Lycanthrope style seed here. Both players have access now to all of the wolf relics. My cat has found her way into the room despite the door being locked. How is this possible? I will be right back.
Meanwhile, we do have a Ring of Varda potential there? Nope, it's a Zircon, never mind. It is a $150 in the shop, not even worth picking up. One of the most disappointing downgrades in the history of downgrades. And then we have a Power Sire and a Flame Star. Now, the Power Sire could potentially be useful for vial stacks later. I think I did see one of them pick up a Monster Vial at some point, so looking forward to seeing something along those lines for either Trio or Shaft.
Okay, we're all good. Very strong kitty cat. But she is back now.
Heart of Vlad. Look upon the heart.
So 3 randoms. We got 1 random and 1 complexity. Of course, the random can be anywhere. And the other one will be at the end of the complexity chain, 9+. Well, that's a Varda. Maybe?
That is a Zircon.
Oh, it's a Zircon. We've already seen that sprite, huh? I see.
Yes, like we literally saw it while you were gone. Like he passed by this Varda and it's all golden yellow and it's perfect. And then he goes and picks it up and Zircon shows up as the name and it's like, oh, it hurt the soul.
I see, there it is. There's that other one.
Mm-hmm.
Now you'll notice that Ren is doing over 200 damage a swing on the frogs. So, yeah. Both players pretty strong right now.
It's not often that you get to see 200 plus damage in the randomizer. Like, you know, a lot of the appeal of playing a randomizer is, oh, I never know what I might find. I might find a Chrysogram, or I might find a Fist of Tolkas at the beginning of the season. It'll be really cool. But you hardly ever see high damage numbers.
Uh-oh. Okay, it's fine.
Do the boot and scoot and boogie.
Yeah. I wonder
Saves
if Crazy
one for
will
later.
skip Grand Falloon again. What do you think? We're still looking for Complexity
No
4.
chance.
No chance?
No chance. There's literally no logic to Grand Falloon, and he's still got one random Vlad left.
Plus, with all the wolf relics, it's really not going to take that long to get over there.
Oh no, absolutely not. He probably knows the wolf jump timings. Was Echo of Bat changed in any way? Could you please elaborate on your question?
As far as I know, it's still vanilla in the rando. Just as useless as it's always been. Ooh, Merman here. And Fist of Tulkas. That's actually very good for Ren. That is going to help equalize the weapon difference for now. Did they find an Alucard shield yet? I mentioned, I think, early on that Ren might have one, but that might have been Alucard's.
Yeah, I'm not positive. I haven't seen... Like, I think there was an Alucard shield in the shop, but they would have to go to the shop, and they would have to know about it, but I don't think that any of them paused over the shields to see what shields were available.
Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, we might see that Fist later then. Okay.
Crazy for Blades actually skipping Grand Falloon. And so is Renantral.
Okay, let's think about this. Gravity 1, Leapstone 2, Jewel 3, question mark, question mark, question mark 4. And then Merman Statue could be 5 plus. Couldn't Grand Falloon have Holy Glasses or Bats? Or Mist?
Could have. I think it's a mistake to skip Grand Falloon.
Oh, you know what? Where did they find Wolf? That was somewhere down here in Caverns, right?
Maybe?
Perhaps thinking is that's Complexity 4. Skip Grand Falloon, go up to All Rocks.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
I'm with you though, Eld. I would have been going to Grand Falloon.
That means that it could be All Rocks, yeah.
I do think Grand Falloon is probably the more consistent play here at the very least. We'll see if it works out though. I mean, the reigning champ, the Swarm, is a big believer in Grand Falloon skip, so it's really caught on. Maybe it'll work out again.
And this is where I actually defer. I actually do Grand Falloon almost all the time. It's really interesting because I'll skip Succubus, but I'll go check Grand Falloon. Most people check Succubus and skip Grand Falloon. I just find Grand Falloon to always be a faster check than Succubus.
Now, assuming this is Complexity 5 plus, we're gonna find something over here. I wonder what. It's not gonna be Bat, but it can be pretty much anything else. Oh my god.
Vlad.
So that has to be Complexity, which I think means Wolf has to be Complexity 4 to get to 9. Hang on. So just hypothetical chain. Wolf 4, Mist 5,
Interested in
Holy Glasses 6, Bat 7, Merman Statue 8. Yep. Wow. So Grand Falloon skip, unless my read is wrong, which could 100% be the case, I think that Grand Falloon skip wins again.
I still think that Grand Falloon could potentially be anything necessary. Like, it could either be Bat or Echo. Oh, they already have Echo.
Yeah, they already got Echo.
I don't know.
More money for Ren here, more library cards.
We love this for routing. This seed is a lot harder to figure out than the last one. Like, the last one was very upfront and in your face with the logic chain. This one's like,
Although I will say Crazy had that great read in game one, which ultimately won it, but yeah. Besides that, it's a little more straightforward. Honestly, it was kind of a good introduction seed to how complexity works. This one's tough to follow. So we'll see.
yeah.
Need a little more info to make complete sense of this. How long does All Rocks last?
Not long at all.
Oof. Okay, there's Mist at All Rocks. We knew that had to be something. So Mist 5.
Yeah, but we don't need mist for anything at this point. We need to find holy glasses. Because, like, okay, we probably got complexity flat, right? I think that's the one that we just got.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're looking for is just density, and density says second castle is where we want to go.
So yeah, once we find holy glasses, I expect you're right, and both runners will make a beeline for Castle 2 and just stay there. So it might come down to Castle 2 routing because Ren has definitely bridged the gap, at least it seems that way right now. It's like, what, a 30-second advantage? 40 tops?
Mm-hmm.
This is a close one. God, these two are so evenly matched, which is great, because these two have played the most Spellbound of any players.
For sure. Well, you know, it's one of those things where, like, both of them are, I won't say equally dedicated to getting the practice in, but these two, like I said, they are frequently the ones that are the rivals. They spend the most time playing the game out of just about anybody.
What can I do for you?
I'm interested in this.
Farewell for now.
Couple of library cards, that's all you need. Get out. This is an interesting detour. Or is it a detour at all? If Holy Glasses is in the chain, this makes sense.
Yeah, and I believe Holy Glasses, again, depends on if my read is right, but I believe Holy Glasses has to be in the chain, or else you can't get to 9. There's not enough complexity on the table. So, this, I think, has to be either Glasses or Silver Ring.
And if it's Silver Ring, that means that the seat just lasts longer. That's all.
But it is Glasses. Here we
Oh,
go.
it's Glasses. Nice. Here's one of those library cards.
And this is a smart play from Crazy here, using the library card, which only saves like, what, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, probably not even 40. Saves a little bit of time, and the reason you do that is because you're 100% confident you're not coming back, which is correct in this case. It's a good read.
Yeah, 30 seconds is enough that you would want a library card there. In any circumstance where you have enough library cards to do that, absolutely just do it. It's way faster than going back around.
Okay, so we are off to Castle 2. This is really exciting. This seat is completely open here. Any predictions about what routes you think our runners are going to take. Will we see left side, right side, maybe a crazy middle route? Maybe a Medusa
I think
left?
that both runners go left.
Just standard left.
I think both runners just go left.
I really want to see.
That doesn't mean that I think that they're right. I think that just means that they both go left.
No, I feel you. I really want to see a Medusa left side. I think Medusa left side is the strongest route in this situation. You give yourself a 70% chance to just win. It's kind of the compromise between left side and right side. If you feel like you've got enough time to check Medusa and still win the race, that's a nice, good, solid route. And I haven't seen it too often from either of these players, but maybe this time. I think you're right. I think we'll see left side from both.
I'll be honest though, like any one of these players that goes to Medusa and doesn't get a Vlad loses the race.
It really
I
is
do
that close.
think
What was the
that's
lead
true.
check on this? 10 seconds? So if you're feeling like, hey, look, it's this close and my opponent's going to go left side, you kind of have no choice. Here we go.
This is an interesting move.
Wait a
Now,
minute, Ren getting the
Renancho is
warp.
choosing to go get
Whoa.
the teleporter,
Whoa.
and then he's coming back down. Crazy said, I don't need the teleporter, I just need the Vlad.
It's a ring. Wait a minute, that's a ring? Wait a minute, whoa, hang on. Ring in Castle 2. Let's go back and read the complexity again. Gravity 1, Leapstone 2, Jewel 3, Wolf 4, and then it was Mist 5, Holy Glasses 6, yeah, Ring 7, that's correct. And then
Yep.
Bat.
Crazy does a perfect read on that. He reads it perfectly and says, I'm not going back to Castle 1. Renancho just restoring his HP and MP, immediately follows Crazy.
Wow, well, this is a surprise. Right side from both.
Now, this is not at all outside of the concept. They are both going the same direction. They both recognize that the other one has a high likelihood of going left, like I just said that they would. And realistically, the person who goes right when the other one goes left has the potential to snatch the win.
Trouble is, if you're rooting for Ren to bring this to a game 3, Crazy's got the combat lead and just the movement lead. So where is Ren going to save time? Are there any chances remaining for a potential divergence?
Yeah, Renancho here not using the Fist of Tolkas, which he probably should. It's just a good idea.
So yeah, if you're rooting for
Especially
Ren...
against Medusa.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, especially against bosses like Medusa who just stand in one place. Akmadon, the Fist of Tolkas fireballs are extremely useful there. Against Trio, you can knock down Sypha in no time at all. I feel like he's making a mistake by not equipping the Tolkas. Unless the Tolkas just has, like, absolutely abysmal attack power.
It's possible, and this Firebrand has got some of the best attack stats I've ever seen. A huge buff compared to Vanilla. So if you're rooting for Ren, you're hoping for this final Vlad to be as late into Castle 2 as possible. Rooting for Crazy, you want it to be right here at Mummy. That'll be a 2-0 for Crazy in all likelihood.
Oh, but could you imagine a Renancho Blitzkrieg through losers bracket on his way back to winners? Oh. Gas cloud. Yikes.
Loser's bracket is going to be unbelievably exciting. This is the first time we've tried this format where there are 6 participants instead of 8. So, it's gonna be even more competitive down there than normal. getting into this bracket stage was especially tough this year.
Crazy Blades going for the right side, skip the teleporter. Now, I mean, you go back 2 to 3 years, even 1 year, skipping that middle teleporter was a cardinal sin. And nowadays, it's just, you know, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, I remember I was actually one of the people who decided to investigate this a little bit more because I was not convinced that getting that warp was better in a 4 out of 5 situation. And I wasn't even doing this crazy route from Crazy here, where you just go all the way back through the imp room. I was doing the standard route that Ren's doing, and you just skip the teleport. And it ends up saving 15 seconds or so, like 75, 80% of the time. And then sometimes it'll save you like 5, and even worst case scenario, you go all the way to Galamoth, it only loses like 15. So the plus minus is just way in your favor. Now, as for going to the left versus going to the right, you mentioned that apparently right side is better, huh? So that's some new school stuff.
Well, okay, if you think about it on these terms, right? Which way does any percent go? You know?
It's a good point.
Now, any percent can make the argument that you're already in the Royal Chapel, you don't need to go through a loading zone, etc., etc. Those kinds of arguments could be made, but I think that it is a faster route.
Okay, so Wing
Because
Smash,
faster,
but gonna be a batless seed here, probably.
yes. If it's faster in first castle, it is almost assuredly faster in second castle under the same circumstances. So, that's the way that I kind of look at routing. Renatral not having a good time facing off against Ralph.
Any final predictions on where you think the last Vlad is going to be located?
I think it's going to be one of Doppelganger or Force of Echo.
So we're down to 6 here, just for the record. Back-to-back Galamoth would be the funniest way to open up the tournament. So that's my guess.
You are a cruel man. If I were one of these racers, I'd be down here like, don't put that evil on me.
Oh, don't worry, jinxes aren't real. There is no way. Oh, never mind, I take it back. So it's random bat. Ooh. Wing Smash into bat form.
I love this. Oh, and the trail on that bat is so hype.
Whoa! Check this out. Crazy doing the reverse here. This is huge. This is actually great for Ren. Now there's a chance for Ren to catch up.
Ooh. The color on that trail, check the drip. Ooh. Ooh.
Give that an A+.
We actually recently redid all of the trails for Bat. The Bat Trail Randomizer originally chose a random palette ID to put behind the bat, and some of them were really cool. Some of them were not cool at all. Some of them were glitchy as all get out. And so finally, Mott and I put our heads together, and we came up with a combination of randomizing the palette itself and randomizing the palette ID so that you could potentially just get like these really nice, sleek purple outlines instead of cubes.
Low-key, it's been a great addition. Always fun to see what the Wing Smash is going to look like. So at this point, this seed, it's just a 50-50. It is a coin flip. Who is going to win this one? We got the divergence. Hopefully Ren skips creature here. Well, I mean, I'd say that, but you never know.
Ooh.
Oh, look at the sync. Oh, this is so cool. Into totally
Crazy
different areas.
is-
Which one's going to be the right one?
He's skipping everything. He said, I don't think it's anywhere except for in the worst possible location.
If you've got a 1-0 lead, this is the kind of route you can try out. I've seen this from Crazy before. Here we go, first one. Power of Mist.
Not a good look. It's looking like I could be right, Jupiter. It's looking like I could be right again.
So now it's
I was right about it being a Galamoth.
I think now it's back to being a pure 50-50. So again, I could be wrong, but I think Galamoth, Crazy wins. Force of Echo or Doppelganger, Ren wins. But I think with Creature, Crazy's gonna win still. I think. Here we go, next one. Could this be it? Are we going to a game 3? Fire of Bat.
Nope, it's Fire Bat.
Now Crazy's got a 2-3 advantage. Oh my goodness.
I'm not gonna lie. I am on the edge of my seat. You can't see it, but it's there.
Well, this is the moment of truth right here. Will Ren survive this game number 2? It is Cube of Zoe. 50-50 now
wrong.
again, unless
I
we've
was
missed
wrong.
something
I can
out.
admit when I was
50-50 Galamoth or Creature. It's a meme either way.
Oh no, oh no. Okay, he's just barely fast enough to get out of gas form in order to be able to do that. Had me going there for a minute. He didn't save. He didn't save. Renato also abandoning the creature position. Crazy for Blades is now exiting the fight with Galamoth after having a very short fight. His Chrysogrim did enough damage per hit that it only took about 15 seconds to get through 12,000 hit points.
I blame
And
myself for this
Vlad
one.
and Galamoth.
Perhaps jinxes are real after all. Okay, GG's to Crazy. Gonna walk out of here with the 2-0.
Well, keep in mind that Renato has the teleporter, and Crazy for Blades has to go back manually.
Not to worry, that's really not a big difference. This is something I labbed out like a couple of years ago. It seems like a long trip, but you know, you add up all the teleport time and the time it takes to, you know, actually pick up the warp. It's not too bad. I just don't see a way that Crazy dies here.
We are about to see our players high five in the middle here on their way through this CD room. Maybe not, maybe just through the mines. There we go. Same room, different directions.
Well, here's the thing. If you're Ren, you really can't feel bad in any way about how you've played. I mean, it was a great performance in terms of the execution, and the routing decisions were good. I think Crazy had the better route in game 1. Made some really good calls there. But here in game 2, it was just a coin flip. It's that eternal
I
Soten
think that
problem,
this one
who
was
gets the right Castle 2 route. No way to avoid that. I will say, though, this was kind of like a pseudo center castle route, which you almost never see in bracket. Definitely a highlight here for Crazy. Going bold, and it paid off.
Well, the reverse entrance to Caverns route, I mean, just an astonishing route considering the circumstances, to be honest. You know, you gamble on it being in the worst possible location, and prophetically, it ends up being true.
The nice thing is, at least death is pretty quick, but yeah. Now, this is set. What you can do on Galamoth with a weapon like this is you can go for short hops, to get double hits in. That's much faster, but I don't see too many people go
Every
for it
time
because
I've
it's
seen a
very
player do
risky.
it. Yeah, like every time I've seen a player try to do that, they've ended up failing and they end up losing the fight.
Okay, so Eldritch, what are your takeaways from this first set of the Spellbound tournament?
Don't count on Crazy to be any level of consistent. And yeah, that's about it.
Unpredictable players can be the scariest players to race against. You lose that advantage of being able to potentially read what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Because honestly, like, okay, when you really think about it, Crazy for Blades did a huge gamble when he decided to skip the entirety of left side. He skipped 3 to 4 checks, pretty much. That's a huge gamble in Second Castle, where there's only 9, I think.
What that also tells me, and again, no guarantee, but what this perhaps tells you is that if Crazy gets a lead in the set, his preference is going to be playing aggressive rather than conservative. You know, some people like to try and hold on to a lead. It's like, I have a game, just no major mistakes, don't throw anything. See if you can kind of passively make it to a 2-0. Time, by the way, that was quick. But apparently that is not Crazy's style. Instead, did a fantastic novel route through reverse entrance and walks away with the 2-0. Amazing stuff, a fantastic way to start the tournament. Couldn't have asked for better. But we're definitely going to have a post-game interview coming up. Give me 2 minutes here. I'll bring the runners in. We'll get their thoughts. Eld, don't go anywhere. Okay, I am joined now by Eldritch once again. I'm also joined by Ren. Hello, Ren.
Yo, what's up?
And also the winner of our first set, Crazy for Blades. Welcome, Crazy.
Hello.
Okay, so there is a lot to talk about. Eldritch, you have the floor. What is your first question for our runners tonight?
Okay, you entered Second Castle, one Vlad missing from your roster. Both of you opted to take the right side. Now, Jupiter asked me while y'all were on your way out of the castle, he said, which way do you think that this is going to go? And I said, both players go left side, hands down. And as soon as Crazy decided to go right side, it almost seemed inevitable. Like, I could see the thought trains unfurling that Renantral had to follow. And lo and behold, Ren followed Crazy to right side. What made you guys decide to go right side instead of left? Was it actually the meta, or was it more or less just trying to get coverage?
Counter Blades. I knew he was going left side, but I'm wrong.
I did it for coverage.
Okay. And
now, it is worth noting, Ren.
My mind.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead,
sorry,
Al.
go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
The other question on my mind was, why did you skip 3 checks, Crazy?
In the first one, or in second?
In the second castle, in the second game, you said, I'm not going to go from bees all the way over to Doppelganger and Force of Echo. I'm just going to go straight for Galamoth because I know that the seed hates us both.
So my thought process on that was that Ren was doing left side. And if he was doing left side, he would get to death and turn around. If he did not turn around, he went to Galamoth. If he went to Galamoth, he would be done right now or in the next couple of seconds. And so it's like, I have to go here and just hope it's here. And if he teleported, then did right side, then I went.
So both of you were certain that your opponent went left side, and that created some interesting outcomes later on. See, what was interesting is at that point in the race after Bees, Crazy, you had like a 15-second lead. It was neck and neck, but you had the Chrysogrim from, I think, the Cannon Room, whereas Ren did not. So if there wasn't any divergence, Crazy would have won. So in a way, going to Galamoth is very risky, but it ended up working out. And I think it's the first time we've seen that route, at least the first time I've seen that route, in a spring tournament. So very cool.
Yeah.
It's a route that, or the second council route is a route that I was working with on during Bounty Hunter, and I honed and refined it.
Now, meanwhile, Ren, I mean, you played great today. How did you feel about your performance during this first set?
Pissed.
He's
I'm
mad.
pissed. I'm mad. You know, my God, you skipped Bees and Force of Echo and Dop 40. Wow.
I did Bees.
He did Bees. He skipped
Oh.
Creature, Dop 40, and
Okay.
Force of Echo.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah.
Modified right side, it'll get you every time.
Good stuff.
Now, Ren, of course, you are not out of the bracket yet. You're just down into the loser's side of the bracket. And that'll also be best of 3 going forward, both winners and losers' sides. So, how are you feeling about the rest of the events?
I'm gonna try to, sweep the lower bracket for the grand final.
Eld had a prediction that it was going to be, if you ended up down in loser's bracket, a potentially deep loser's run. So I'm excited to see if that ends up happening. Great stuff today, really was an excellent performance. And Crazy, I mean, really some honestly brilliant routing decisions. I mentioned at the start of game 2 that everyone was panicking when you skipped Granfalloon. We all assumed it was a misread, but it was actually one step ahead. So big congrats, it was great stuff.
That on that seed, I knew 100% that whatever progression was going to be there, because it was a wolf power wolf seed. So I was hoping it was Deep Stone. It turned out to be Mist and nothing behind Mist, so I could have got real punished.
Yeah.
Now, I believe, Crazy, are you playing Swarm in the next round in winner's bracket? I think that's correct.
Unfortunately, you are correct.
It's going to be a hot one. Everyone, please look forward to that set for sure. And as a reminder, the next Soden tournament match is going to be tomorrow.
Yes.
We've got Mateus versus Gallivanter coming up. That's going to be another good one.
And who's on comms for that? It's Scrimps and...
Last I checked, it was Sugden. If Scrimps wants to hop on, that'd be
that-
fantastic. I could just take a back seat, just play the host. But yeah, I love this game. I love this community. And I really loved being able to commentate this set today. It was super entertaining. Hope everyone in chat had a good time watching. And thank you both for joining us for this interview. We'll talk real soon. Let's go ahead and plug socials before I forget. Crazy, the winner, you get to go first. Where can people find you?
Well, you can readily find me in the long library. I'm very open about talking to people and trying to help everyone out with the randomizer. If I happen to be streaming, which is very rare, I'll be honest, that would be at Crazy for Blades TV on Twitch.
Ren, same question to you. You're streaming
find
all
me
the
on
time.
Twitch all the every day after my work. So Renan TRL1 Twitch or YouTube, you can find me.
Fantastic, thank you so much. And Eldritch, really enjoyed the co-commentary today. Thank you so much for stepping into the mic room.
Of course.
Where can people find you? You're not just a top Soden player and a top commentator, but also one of the people who makes the rando possible. So, with that in mind,
Yeah. You can get a hold of us if you encounter any bugs with the randomizer. Open up your bugs at the GitHub repo. You can find a link to the GitHub repo on soten.io. If you want to test any of the new experimental features that we're working on, dev.soten.io will let you try that out. If you're looking for any kind of explanation, tutorials, anything like that, you can find those on symphonyrando.fun. And if you want to find me, I'm at twitch.tv/Eldritch with a 7 instead of a T.